What's up guys? In my previous video, I showed you guys how I programmed Sand Tetris from scratch, and you guys seem to really enjoy it.
Apart from my crappy microphone.
So, in this video, not only did I get a proper microphone, but I will show you how I programmed Clash Royale in 20 hours. So, let's get started! I have to mention that before I started coding, I modeled some in-game emotes to act as the troops for the game. Creating the emotes took 16 hours, but since the models are just aesthetic features and don't affect how the game runs, I don't count this time as part of the programming process. Before I began coding, I created a checklist of what I wanted to implement into the game. The core things that make Clash Royale, Clash Royale. This checklist consists of 5 steps, each with its own tasks. First step, towers. The first thing I had to do was create the Clash Royale arena. Using 3D cubes and rectangles, I created the basis for the arena, the play area, river, and paths. I also imported some packages from the Unity asset store to create the trees, rocks, and fences around the arena. For the towers and bridges, I used the 3D models I had created earlier. Having set up the arena and towers, I was ready to start coding the tower's health and attack system. For the health system, I gave the tower a health bar and made a simple function called take damage. Every time an enemy attacks the tower, it will activate this function. The function takes in the damage the enemy does and applies it to the tower's health bar, decreasing its value. For the attack system, I created a sphere radius around the tower. Anytime an enemy is inside this radius, the tower will shoot an arrow at its position, causing it damage. When a tower is destroyed, it increases the number of crowns you have, and a little crown will appear. The number of crowns is used to choose a winner, loser, or tie at the end of the game. The last thing to do was add the time and overtime system. Initially, there is a 3-minute timer counting down at the beginning of the match. When this timer reaches 0, it will check the crown count. If there is a winner, it will end the match. If there is a tie, the match will go into overtime, resetting the timer for 2 additional minutes. At the end of these 2 minutes, whether there is a winner or a tie, the match ends and the game will show the results. With the first step being done, it was time for the second step, deck. I had to make the individual cards that you would be placing into the arena, but also the system that displayed them and cycled them. I made a card template that all the cards could use, that way we only have to make 1 object instead of 8 for the whole deck. This card template served a visual purpose, showing what troop is going to be placed, but also a coding purpose, having information about the card, such as its elixir cost, its starting position, its cycle position, and the troop object it spawns. When you select the card, all this information is passed to a deck manager. This deck manager identifies what card you selected, and then detects if you press anywhere on the play arena. If so, it spawns the troop corresponding to that card. To create the card cycle system, I created a sort of carousel of cards. This is your deck. Think of it as people waiting in line for their turn. At any given moment, there will be 4 cards displayed on the screen. At the start of the game, the 4 starting cards of your deck are displayed in these 4 positions. When you use a card, it disappears and goes to the back of the line. The first card, waiting in line, will take its spot. This cycle then repeats every time you place a card. We have cards but no elixir to place them, which leads me to the third step. Elixir. The elixir generating system was probably the easiest part of this project. I made the elixir bar on the bottom. Depending on how much time is left, the elixir would generate every 2.8 seconds, 1.4 seconds, and every 0.9 seconds. When placing a card, the deck manager checks the card's cost, and if there is enough elixir, it spawns the troop and takes away the elixir it costs. The second to last and probably the most important step is step 4. Troops. I did the same thing as with the cards. I created a troop template that would be used by all the troops. I gave this template some AI that every troop would use. Moving towards the closest tower, attacking the tower and enemies when in range, taking damage from enemy projectiles. I also gave it variables that would differ from troop to troop. There are a few troops that do not use this base template. The fireball only goes to where you placed it and deals damage to surrounding troops. The tombstone has health points that are decreased over time and spawns skeletons. The goblin barrel spawns 3 goblins where you placed it. And of course, the best card in the game, the Expo. The Expo, well, you know what it does. We have programmed everything for us, the players, but we still do not have an opponent. Hence the final step. Step 5. Enemy AI. I gave the AI a deck and an elixir generation system. Every turn, a random amount of time is generated. When this time is up, the AI will choose a random card. If it has enough elixir, it will place the card in a random position on its half. If not, it will skip its turn. And whether you believe me or not, that's it. Basic AI will do the trick. And with that done, we have Clash Royale. Of course, it's not perfect. Enemy arrows travel backwards, fireballs follow your mouse cursor, enemies get stuck on the bridge, and the AI sucks. But it shows what can be made over 2 days in as little as 20 hours. Thank you guys so much for watching the video. Here on your left, you can see gameplay of how Clash Royale turned out. If you liked the video, consider giving it a like, commenting, and subscribing. If you would like to see more videos like this, you can always check my channel out. Till next time guys, don't forget to do your homework.